Angela Davis once said, "I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept." Hi, I'm Dr. Tony Vercillo, and this is episode 14, Change is Inevitable, Growth is Optional. That's what this podcast is all about, creating change that will help you succeed in all areas of your life. Although I don't have a magic wand, I can tell you that if you work hard and you suffer with a little bit of pain, from change comes pain. From pain, we get lessons learned. And from lessons learned, we don't make the mistake again. It's really hard work being successful. Okay. As always in my podcast, I first provide you with a success tip, followed by a stock tip. And then finally, the lesson this week is going to be on change management, sometime right after that. In the secret episode attached to this session, I'm going to provide you with the ability to download a change management presentation that I did at a corporate event that I think you'll enjoy. In that same secret episode, I'm also going to give you the 6 dividend stocks that should return about 10% or more through their dividend payouts and appreciation. Okay, the success tip this week is a list of a dozen things that make for a bad versus great presentation. Actually, it's not quite a dozen, it's actually 8 things. In order to create change, you need to present your ideas. To present your ideas, you need to be organized and put your best foot forward and then document those ideas in some sort of a presentation. It could be a one-pager, could be a PowerPoint, etc. Here's a list of all the bad and good presentation tactics I use to do a good presentation. Number 1, it has to have a good opening hook. Not today's topic is about. Forget that. It's boring. What you need to do is you need to think about some sort of a icebreaker. For example, as far back as the saber-toothed tiger, people have been afraid of change. All right, number 2, the presentation needs to be riddled with anecdotes, stories, and a memorable message. Number 3, it should connect with the audience and be highly relatable. In this case, the topic, change management, very relatable. Number 4, never, ever, ever read from the slides or put your back facing the audience. That is the death knell of a presentation. Number 5, use voice inflection and even a purposeful pause in order to change the tone of your voice to make it less boring. Nothing worse than a monotonous, kind of mundane, boring speaker. So again, use voice inflection up and down. Sometimes I speak softly, so it's a little bit more poignant. Sometimes I speak very loudly to make sure that I'm getting my point across. Okay. Number 6, humor should be injected throughout the entire presentation. Tell a little joke, a little quip. Those things tend to work. Always have something at the end that leaves them thinking. That is number 7, a call to action. Leave them thinking, give them some homework, give them something to do at the end. And number 8, there should be a robust Q&A at the end of the presentation. Okay, next up is this week's stock tip. That's the credit powerhouse Visa. This corporate credit giant trades using the symbol V on the New York Stock Exchange. It trades at about $280 a share and has almost doubled the past 4 years. Visa has a market cap of, believe it or not, $563 billion, a slightly high PE ratio of 32, and a very small dividend yield of 0.7%. But the 5-year forecast for this stock is for earnings per share to grow about 12% a year. So this stock you should add to your growth portfolio and hold on to it as it's a share appreciation play, not a dividend play. And as always, as I mentioned in every single podcast, seek counsel from a professional stockbroker, a CPA, or an attorney, because I don't purport to be a licensed broker. These are merely my suggestions. Okay, finally, let's get to today's main topic, and that is how to better deal with change management. There are 2 aspects of change management that I will delve into here, namely the 5 C's of change management and the 7 R's of change. In order for change to take hold, you must adhere to these basic tenets. The 5 C's of change management, brought to me by Jane Offner, are 1, culture. Culture plays a significant role in change management. If you come from a company that has 16 white 75-year-olds at the helm, it's going to be very difficult to change. So culture plays a role. The culture within the company, the ethnicity, all that sort of stuff does play a role in the ability to change. I might add, much more difficult to change an old person and much more difficult to change a man versus a woman. Number 2, communication. Any change requires that you over communicate. Post, use social media, send a letter home, send them an email, numerous emails, post it in the break room, and then solicit input from the lower levels. I just did this at work. I had my team solicit the drivers and their input for specifications for new trucks that we're getting. Goes a long way because it's going to be a change. Different manufacturer, different brand trucks. We wanted their input on all that. It's very important. Number 3, compassion. This has to do with walking in the shoes of the receiver and understanding the potential impact that it may have on the individual. It always shocks me when there's a downsizing effort and people start to fire individuals, how they're not very compassionate when they do it. Large insurance company here in the East Coast let go a bunch of people, didn't even give them 1 day of severance because it's an at-will state, which is just ridiculous. All right, number 4, conviction. Never let them see you sweat at all. You must believe in the change, and as you are communicating it, it has to be obvious to everybody that the message that you're conveying, you believe in it. Number 5, courage. By not taking the path of least resistance to accomplish the change. Ignoring the impact of the change, ignoring the communication, ignoring planning the change, big mistake. Now, let me digress a minute and discuss kind of the definition and typical types of change we face every day. This comes to me by Simply Learn. So, what is change management? Change management is a structured and methodical approach aimed at facilitating the smooth transition of teams, organizations, and individuals in order to get to a desired state, some sort of desired result. It involves emotional, psychological, and practical aspects of change to minimize disruptions. That's basically what it is. What are the types of change that we face? 1, or structural change, hierarchy change, changing the CEO, changing the top management, going from centralized control to decentralized control. Number 2, technological change, implementing new technologies that eliminate jobs and technologies that improve productivities. Process change, where we change the process workflow in a manufacturing facility or in a warehouse. Number 4, cultural change. So what is culture? It's shared beliefs, values, and norms, and even behaviors. So you change the CEO, and the new CEO dresses very conservatively, modestly, and is always dressed up. The organization will change culturally over time. Number 5, strategic change. And that involves a change in direction, or when we are, let's say, expanding territory or something to that effect. Number 6, mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions is a huge change, and that integrating of the new company can cause nightmares for organizations. And number 7, just a plain leadership change, a change in leadership. And leadership change usually means leadership style change also. If you're going from an autocratic to a democratic leader, or from somebody who's a real people person to somebody who's extremely results oriented, that change is going to cause some sort of change issues. In order to be effective at change, ask yourself these important questions, and this is called the 7 R's of change management. Who raised the change? What is the reason for the change? What are the risks involved with the change? What resources are required? Who is responsible for this entire process? And then what is the relationship between the change and anything else, stakeholders, the employees, etc. Okay, that's it for now, folks. Please remember to consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, to become a member of my Patreon family. I would love it if you left me a review, a comment, things you'd like to see, things you want me to talk about, things you hate, things you want more of, etc. And again, I might add, keep in mind, I changed the secret episode to coincide now with the main episode. So you're going to see secret episode 14. There is not going to be any 13 or 13 episode of the secret stuff. Okay, now, this is Dr. V signing off. Remember, in the words of Carol Burnett, only you can change your life. No one can do it for you. Take care. See you guys next week.